It's Zoomers once again with the one and only John Richardson from the Sunday Mirror and Charlie McCann. I'm tempted to break into Madonna's holiday sell because you're both on holiday, or Charlie's going to Spain and you've gone to North Wales in a caravan.
Yeah, I've gone a long way, haven't I? I've gone just across. No, I'm actually working. I'm working from here, and you know,
working in a caravan is a bit like Max and Paddy. I can see it in my mind's eye, kind of thing.
No
way. Not in Wales. They've got phones.
Oh, brilliant! What do you mean you're working in your caravan? What you're putting up something or fixing the tap or something? What's going on?
I'm doing about 3 features at the moment, believe it or not.
Ooh. Can you tell us what?
Yeah, I'm doing one on Chester FC, who are playing for free on Sunday. All the players are playing for free in the National League North playoff, which is unheard of. Doing a piece on Gareth Bale, what's happening to him.
He's not playing, is he?
Sorry?
He's not playing, is he? He's not getting. They haven't got a ring in, have they?
That is the point, Charlie. That is the actual point. What's going to happen? So, quite busy, and then I have to go to Preston and Birmingham on Saturday because I've been naughty.
Oh no, to be fair, I mean it's we're at the sharp end. There's no doubt about it. It kind of rolls into one. Remind me to talk about the FA Cup, of course, FA Cup semi-finals.
Still going.
Can you? Sorry, Ricky.
Is the FA Cup still going? Is it?
I don't know. There's all sorts going. Real Madrid could win the league, couldn't they? And it's mind blowing. Listen, Charlie, I want to ask you, as a centre half of great stature in your pomp, why do teams play out or insist on playing out from the back, like in their own 6-yard box? What's your take on it?
Well, it would appear that you've got to be sort of this reincarnation of Alan Hansen to play centre back these days, and you're not everybody can do that, but everybody wants to play in the same way now. And I mean, I don't think you would get me and Tarkowski, and some players such Burnley are more sort of functional and things like that, but it is becoming so much the norm now that
why though? Why? What is the benefit of it? I mean, I've not seen many goals scored from it. If you can give me a benefit from it, I'm all ears.
I think everyone wants to have the ball, to have possession is 9/10, etc. It's almost, you don't want to give it back to sort of outstanding sort of teams and etc. And with the high press, I don't know. I think a lot of people would want to kick the ball behind people's back fours and press up and that way, rather than the goalkeeper being able to do that. But it is the norm now, and if you've got the players to do it, fine. Even then, of course, you've got what happened to Liverpool, last night. They were so benevolent to Arsenal that it can come across. It looks good on the eye. Whether it is going to be, I don't know. I still can't see why nobody takes a chance or a punt as a defender on man for man and a sweeper. Going back to and playing different types of defence. Going to a 3-4. Why did nobody ever now is it whatever it was Catenaccio style? What in sort of a basketball style? Right, we'll play man for man, and then we have a libero, we have a sweeper come back. I can't see how that is going. Not just. I mean, nobody ever discusses it now. Yet if I may not be as good a footballer as you, but if I'm as quick as say Mo Salah and things that I've got, I then right, that's your guy. And me, if I'm an intelligent libero, I can see just in case. And of course, you've got to have good defensive midfield players, but at this moment in time, in the pantheon of time, that is the norm now. Is I want my centre halves, however good they are defending, they've got to be able to pass the ball. My central midfield player comes into the middle. My 2 fullbacks go wide, and that is the norm. But it's cock up after cock up, isn't it? Really,
Rico, what's your take on it? Because I mean, it's not just last night. I'd be fascinated, and I don't know the answer to just how many goals are given away. It's even like, when Paul Pogba got the ball against Southampton, he's robbed straight away. I actually spoke to Ian Taylor, the old Aston Villa centre-half. We were laughing and said, would you have liked that if the goalie pinged you on the edge of the box, you've got to turn? What about you, Rico? What do you make of it?
I call it football snobbery. It's, oh, we must play out from the back. Oh, look at the way we play. Oh, it's fantastic on the eye. The fact that they lose goals all the time, it doesn't seem to come into it. We've just lost a huge icon in the game, Jack Charlton. Can you imagine Jack playing out from the back? I mean, it just would happen. I think you've got to have a bit of both. In danger, you've got to clear your lines. If you've got time, if you're good on the ball, if you're confident, then okay. But after all, surely it's about getting the ball. I know this is simplistic, but it's getting the ball the other end of the field. And that, I mean, Liverpool, Charlie makes a point last night. Liverpool, you know, they pressed the self-destruct button, didn't they? Doing that. I mean, to be fair, Van Dijk doesn't usually do that. You know, we give him the one mistake. I don't like it. I mean, whenever I see Newcastle trying to do it, I go behind the couch, you know, because can't do it. And it's just this thing about managers come out and say, oh, well, I want my players to play properly, come out from the back. Oh, we've just lost 3-1. Oh, well, you know, I mean, it does my head in, Rob, to be honest. It's, as I say, I think it's football snobbery.
Manchester City, the really big winners this week, financial fair play. Suddenly the whole thing's turned around. I mean, I glaze over with it, to be honest with you. I can see both arguments for it, but I guess at the end of the week, they look the best team, and I'll be interested to hear what Charlie's odds are for next season. But I mean, they'll probably buy a few now. It's been a great week for them, hasn't it?
Well, I'm not in favour of financial fair play, but you know, there are financial fair play rules out there, and they've obviously been broken. I mean, how can Manchester City be fined £9 million?
8 or 9. Yeah.
£8 or £9 million. So, in effect, they have been found guilty, but the Champions League ban has been removed. I was with Jose Mourinho. It's either one or the other. You know, you're either guilty of the price, or you know, they just fuzzed it, really, for me. But I'm not in favour of financial fair play. I think what it does, it protects the elite, if you like. It doesn't allow any new clubs to come in and pile in money. You know, we've got the laws of the land. If you overspend, then you're in trouble and you could go bankrupt. I think that is, you don't want to see it happen, but it's there. If it happens, I think you've got to have a go. For instance, Newcastle, we won't go about the takeover, but if the takeover actually happens sometime this century, then, you know, surely they should be allowed to spend what they want to try and catch up. But with financial fair play, you can't. So it's protecting the elite for me, but I don't like it. But I find the actual decision bamboozling, because in one instance they're fined, another instance they're allowed to still stay in Europe.
Charlie, you would think now that Manchester City, after that decision, will have money to spend. He's going to be one heck of a loss. We've not really talked about him so far. Is David Silva? Where does he rate in the pantheon of great foreign imports into the Premier League?
He's right up there. He must be alongside your Henrys, and you know, he really has been, and he's been wonderful on the eye. And you think. Almost in his swan song now, he seems to be deciding now he's taking the free kicks and scoring, you know, with Kevin De Bruyne as bench warming, you know, with the bigger games to come. And you would imagine Silva.
To be fair, Pep Guardiola, if he was going to make a signing, it'd be him again, wouldn't it? He just, you know, there's no signs for me of him slowing down in any way, shape or form.
No, but he's been a wonderful ambassador. He's a wonderful footballer, but the heir apparent is there. And as an England supporter as well, I don't want Foden to be. I think I want Foden and 10 other players to play for Manchester United and Manchester City next season. I think he's that good. I love the way. Almost he's a thoroughbred for me. I love the way he runs. He's the nearest thing I've seen to Liam Brady for a long time. He is just a thoroughbred. And I'm sorry, no, the handbrake's got to come off. And as good as David Silva has been, there is no need for Manchester City. Manchester City, we all know where they need to spend, and spend big if they are to reclaim the Premier League title. It's all right beating teams 5-0, 5-0. Bournemouth could have scored 4 yesterday. You know, we're all talking. Arsenal only had 3 shots against Liverpool in the whole game. Bournemouth could have scored 4 or 5. You know, there was the VAR, which VAR is there for, but it was a matter of inches. that Bournemouth didn't equalise. We know that where they're going, that they're going to spend money and spend big. It's just who. Will it be Kubali? Will it be one? It'd be interesting to think, of course, when John Stones signed I thought it was a kick in the teeth for Everton, because everyone said, oh, Pep Guardiola will make him a much better. Everybody wrote, oh, he'll make him a much better player. No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. And I think people should address that. Stones has regressed at Manchester City, and I'd like to see. He's somebody I wouldn't mind back at Goodison Park. If we're talking about, he still potentially could be. He's had injury problems, but I'm sure there is a good footballer in there waiting to happen. And Manchester City was the wrong move at that time in his career.
You'd think now, Rico, that Kevin De Bruyne, the likes, if there was any decision to be made of them going with the Champions League in action, they're going to be staying. But Charlie's right, isn't he? It's not that difficult for Pep to go, right, we need a big centre, well, not a big centre, a good centre-half, and maybe another striker, possibly, with Aguero. I doubt whether he'll be at City next season, whether he'll sign a new contract.
Yeah, everybody waxes lyrical about Pep Guardiola. And, he's been a fantastic coach. He does usually improve players. But for me, he'll never, ever win Manager of the Year, because I want to see him trying, attempting to bring a smaller club to fruition, sort of thing. I just think that Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Manchester City, not exactly straining.
Yeah, but he's played great football. The way they play football is something else, and that's.
I'll give him that. But I'll tell you what, if you look at this season, I'd rather go for somebody like Chris Wilder for the job he's done. Can you imagine Pep Guardiola at Sheffield United? I can't. Can you imagine Pep Guardiola at Leicester City? I can't. I mean, he has to go to the top clubs. If he left Manchester City, he'd probably go to something like Paris Saint-Germain. Not exactly another, effort, really. I'm sorry about this, but it does get me goat sometimes. I think Pep this, Pep Guardiola that. Yeah, he does improve players. His teams are great to watch. But for me, I'm sorry, he's not a proper manager.
What about the job that Nuno's done at Wolves? Do you enjoy watching Wolves?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I think he's done a fantastic job, because you look at those players. Now, I know George Mendes is at the heart of it. He brings these players in, but, they are fantastic players. He's got the best centre forward in Europe at the moment, Jimenez. I think what a player. Now, he's improved him. He's improved him without a doubt. Traore is fantastic to watch. Jota, it's a fantastic team. That is Nuno's team that he has built. And, I'd give him, 10 out of 10 for that. Absolutely fantastic.
Charlie, how good's Adama Traore? I mean, you watch him in burst. There was a run. He kind of set up the goal last night. I mean, he's unplayable at times. What's your take on him?
At times. I am probably an awful lot of managers must be looking at him thinking, is he the missing link? Is he going to turn my team? Because some of the things he does is he's quicker than me, he's more powerful than me. Do you remember early on in the season, though, we were lamenting every cross seemed to hit the first, and if it didn't hit the first defender, it went into the back of the... And then he's just had this wonderful purple patch where, as you say, when he came on straight after lockdown, if you remember, sometimes a substitute, if he's that good, is it just an injury thing that he sometimes only plays off the bench? But his crosses was going to the far post, and as John points out, the centre forward was burying them, with his, I thought it was Ron Davis and things like that. It really was. He is a lovely footballer, and that volley he scored last night was really out the top drawer. Is he? I honestly don't know with Traore. Somebody's going to take a punt on him. He is quicker than me. If I'm marking him, he's quicker than me. He's stronger than me. Does his stats suggest that he's going to be a game changer? I don't know. I don't really know yet. And I don't think anybody truly knows. But somebody is going to take a punt with him, I would imagine. Although, if there was one Wolves player, I would agree with John. This Ruben Neves and things like that, he's a good player. Of course, he's a good player. It's the centre forward for me. And you've got to say, if a team that doesn't concede many goals as well, you know, those three defenders, they're well organised, well coached, and that might be, if they won the Europa League, would he not be a good candidate for Manager of the Year?
I couldn't agree more. I really enjoy watching them as well. Podensu came on the other day, and Jota quite a lot. I mean, I think they're a wonderful side to watch. What about Adama Traore, Rico? Because you know, I've seen a great deal of someone from Middlesbrough tear Fulham apart, and you know, he can tear anybody apart. But is Charlie right that when he says nobody still really knows?
No, I agree with Charlie. But he is the X factor on his day. He's unplayable. Like Charlie said. I tell you what, I don't want to go on about 5 substitutes because we don't have 5 substitutes next season. That's a one for debate. But if we have 5 substitutes, somebody like Traore on the bench for Liverpool would be fantastic. Because I know Jurgen Klopp likes him, but I think, as Charlie suggests, that Jurgen's thinking, well, can I risk him? But, you know, with the 5 substitutes, it's a no-brainer. Put him on the bench, bring him on, you know, I don't know, after 60 minutes, and he'll run teams ragged. Now, somebody like Liverpool could afford to do that, and somebody like Traore would be probably happy to do that at Anfield, but he wouldn't want to be on the bench somewhere else. But, yeah, I mean, I do think that, well, I do know Liverpool are looking at him seriously, and that's where he could end up.
5 substitutes. I saw a tweet from you. You're not having it at all. It's not totally decided, is it? Of course, yet, but
no, I've got a feeling Rob, the Premier League will vote against it because
yes,
it'll be 2/3 majority, so you've got to have 14 votes for it. I think there's going to be more than 6 clubs. I mean, I could see it, you know, now because we're in unprecedented time. Yes. You know, when the new season starts, I mean, it's just like a new season. What's the difference from, you know, the seasons we've seen before? I just feel, I mean, we all watch football now, and you know, I've covered now, I don't know, 5 or 6 games. It's so slow. It's so slow. We have the drinks break. Then we have all these substitutes coming on. I know it can only be done 3 times, but, you know, there's so many breaks in play. And also, as people say, you know, if a Liverpool, a Manchester City, blah, 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 they're an advantage because they can...
That's the one for me. They get a huge advantage.
Yeah. So I'd like to see it voted out. I've got a feeling it will be. I think there's more than 6 clubs will go against it, hopefully.
They always used to say what comes from America, it's sort of, we pick up about 5 years later. But I've got to say, I'll be honest with you, I don't mind the drinks break. I mean, I'm a huge fan of American football. I love the end.
You're talking personally now.
Well, listen, I tell you, I quite, no. We all like a drinks break. I don't mind it. There was a point last night where Jamie Carragher, who's very against it, was, and quite rightly, Bournemouth were having a really good spell. The drinks break came, and it changed. It gave City a chance to regroup and all. But I quite like that chance for coaches to just have a little chat. What do you think, Charlie?
Well, you're then saying the game is changed into quarters, isn't it? It's 4 quarters rather than 2 halves. What was interesting, I think, the drinks break, was it the Liverpool game last night where the drinks break came after, instead of 67 minutes, it came after about 73.
Right.
The 73 because nobody fouled anybody, the good ball didn't go out of play, and you could sort of see the referee fretting, oh my God, I'm make sure I don't forget, oh no, I've got to go there, but, you know, I know it says 73 on the clock, and it wouldn't be for me, no, it wouldn't quite be for me. I see exactly what you mean, but these days, teams always get a bit of a break because somebody goes down, feigns injury, and then so they stop the game. People can come over and get a drink at the side of the pitch, and the coach can coach them. And that happens now. So it wouldn't be for me, but if the league voted, what gets me as well, you know, you have drinks break, which I think was brought in because we were playing in July, and then it's pouring with rain, and it's 7 or 8 degrees, and you think, wow, you know, this is crackers. If that was why it was brought in, but no,
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah. It would be.
You know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen?
Go on.
Well, I can see in the next couple of years, the TV companies, well, Sky, will try and insist on it in the next contract. And you know what?
Goes to a break.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, it's like if you watch the IPL cricket, that's the technical timeout now, which is a 2-minute advert. But anyway, I think we've got to tip our hat. Another guy we unbelievably not really mentioned is Harry Kane, 200 career goals. Charlie, you've seen some great centre forwards, including Ron Davis, and we could chuck in Wyn Davis and Tony Aitley. But what about Harry? Where's Harry? And what's your take on the milestone for him?
He's been a terrific player. He has, and of course, sorry, that sounds past tense. He didn't have a very good start to lockdown, but he's hit the straps recently. He wouldn't be as good as the Wolves centre forward for me. He's certainly not in the same breath as Alan Shearer. As great England centre forwards, but my God, he's a hell of a player, and he seems a really good bloke, good England captain. Although I'd have Henderson, I've always suggested to Henderson, Harry's not particularly vocal enough, and if he's not captain of, if the goalkeeper is the captain of Spurs, that seems sort of irks me a little bit that he's captain of England. But he's a hell of a player, 2 feet. That was a wonderful headed goal as well, back where it came from. Yesterday, he's got everything. He just, again, if you're comparing them, he wouldn't quite be the best in the division at the moment, and he's certainly not the best English centre forward I've seen.
Rico?
Well, Ron Davis, one of Chester's finest.
Is he playing on Sunday?
I didn't actually see him play, just before my time, but I heard all about it. Yeah, he's well, I've got to know Harry a little bit, covering England in the past, and as Charlie suggests, he's a fantastic bloke. Always got time for you. Loves football. Had a bad start, went on loan for about 4 or 5 clubs, and he didn't really make it. But he's now, well, he's a prolific striker now. I agree with Charlie. Won't put him in the Alan Shearer class. I'd rather have him in this as well. But for Tottenham, he does a hell of a job. Quite often up there by himself now, which is even harder. Yeah, you wish him well. Also, I think he's a good captain. He's taken on that responsibility. He's good to have around the place, but you wonder how long he's going to stay at Tottenham, because he must be bursting to win things, which I don't think you will at, Tottenham now. So it's going to be an interesting few months for him.
We've got to tip our hat to 2 W's to Wigan for their 8-0 performance. We had Reedy on with us. I mean, it puts into perspective, stark contrast what's happening at the club. So what a performance and what a job Paul Cook and Reedy have done there. And to Wycombe Wanderers as well, Gareth Ainsworth, who they'll be playing in the Championship next season. Congratulations to them. Just going to finish, boys, with the FA Cup semi-finals. They are going on this weekend. Arsenal and Man City. I mean, will these clubs be focused on the FA Cup? It's just happened so thick and fast, Rico, hasn't it?
Well, we come, all of us, from an era when the FA Cup was so important. It was probably, more important than the league in many respects, because it was the one game, of course, that you saw, the FA Cup final. It was a whole day and everything. Sadly, it's not the same anymore, but it's still got some kudos because, we've got the 4 big clubs in the semi-finals, haven't you? So they're obviously still going for it. But it's very strange, isn't it, to be played at Wembley, no fans. Although, I mean, the Wycombe game was fantastic, it was there. But, they created their own atmosphere, didn't they? And the players were great. And I love Gareth Ainsworth. I'm really pleased with him. Felt sorry for Oxford. I thought they were easily the better side, but,
yes.
By it. But, yeah, back to the FA Cup. Yeah, it's sort of sneaked in there, I mean, I said to somebody earlier this morning, we're talking, he said, what games are on? I said, well, there's blah, 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 it's the FA Cup. The FA Cup, I thought that was in August. I said, no, that's Champions League. So, yeah, I mean, once it's there, I think they'd be interested, but it hasn't had a fantastic build-up, has it?
Arsenal, Man City, Man United and Chelsea, who's going to be in the final, both of you?
All Manchester affair.
Rico?
I fancy Chelsea to do something. So Chelsea, Man City.
We've got
that
we've
right.
got around. We've
They're
got
not playing each other the semi-final.
No, Arsenal, Man City, Man United, Chelsea.
That's all right, then.
Because bizarrely, the takeover, because we're kind of near to this, and we're not near to it, but having worked in the region and you've been over to Qatar, they banned beIN Sports. The Saudis have banned beIN Sports, which now it actually does it's another spanner in the works of the takeover, isn't it?
It's a complete mess, isn't it? Absolute mess. I mean, I still feel that it will go through. In fact, there was talk of there be announcement today. So watch this space. But, you know, it's a mess. And also the government are desperate not to get involved in it for obvious reasons. I mean, they're in enough trouble with China. So they don't want to, you know, antagonise people in the Middle East, especially when they do business with them. That's where it's all two-faced. You know, football is sort of, you know, caught in this crossfire, if you like, whereas everybody, you know, still deals with Saudi Arabia. But Rob, I get fed up of talking about it, but, you know, just want some finalisation to it.
Well, hopefully when we speak to you next time, there'll be an outcome one way or the other. And Charlie, we were swapping WhatsApps with Everton's performance against Wolves, but Carlo's come out and he's actually had a pop at Jordan Pickford. He's got to pull his socks up, he said.
Well, quite rightly, you know, he's the fact that he's still, you know, on the verge of the England, you know, I suppose still number one. I would imagine he won't be. That Pope and Henderson will have leapfrogged him, but I mean, it's not good enough. He's not at this moment in time. He's palpably not good enough to play for England, and in my opinion, not good enough to play for Everton. But he's not on his Robinson Crusoe, is he? Blimey, you know. That performance, but we you know, we've seen it coming. They were awful at Norwich. You know, it's all right having a go at Goodison, and they, you know, I do think they've reached a backable position this evening against Aston Villa as well. Villa have got to come out and probably, you know, and win and have a go, and I think at Goodison, despite the lack of fans, I think Everton will beat Aston Villa this evening. But that's irrelevant, you know, in the whole scheme of things. Everton have got are the worst team in the division on the eye at the moment. They're poor. They have no pace. They lack creativity. They have a forlorn figure. Richarlison's in the anti-Martial camp at best. He's got, you know, he's got a sulky face, but God love him. You had to feel something against Wolves. He was up on a Sunday morning. You know, I've been driven down here, and you know, I've got Theo, God love him. Theo made a guest appearance, and oh my God, did you see how hopeless he was? And you know,
it was a poor performance. I think we can say.
I keep on about this. Everyone says, "Oh, Ancelotti, this." He's got to move 8 or 9 people on before.
Which isn't easy. To be fair, it isn't easy.
Of course, it's not easy. If I'm your manager, Rob, you're on £100,000 a week, and I can get you a gig at Southampton where you started off on £25,000 a week.
No,
I'm sorry, I'm not doing my job and things. And of course, you could go for a free in 12 months' time. So I'm going to say to you, Rob, come out and say, I want to stay and fight for my place at Goodison and pick up 100. I mean, and it's not just him, of course. There's a number of them, and that's why any talk of Everton being a threat to anyone other than the bottom half of the table is completely premature. Everton didn't, you know, and when you think that the new ground is, you know, what is the latest on the new ground, and when will that ever happen? They are slightly worrying times, and I regretted last week talking about it. The shoots of recovery with Reedy, and more so this week.
Charlie, thanks a lot. Rico, enjoy that caravan, mate. You have a great time. Charlie, have a great. I'd rather be in Kane. Hey, see you, fellas. I'll speak to you next week.
See you, Charlie.
Cheers, guys.